Welcome to episode 125 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with host Stephen Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins.
Howdy.
Ben Wilson at our trading cards. I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. We are podcast by collectors or collectors who have been bringing you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific,
10 Central.
On YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast everywhere. Check out the website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. We have a very special guest with us tonight, Chris Carlin, head of customer experience for Upper Deck, at Pete Incaviglia on Twitter. Go back to the last time Chris was on the show last year to find out the story behind that. I think it's awesome. And welcome, Chris. It's a big day for you guys at Upper Deck today. Series 1 drops.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me, guys. I love what you guys do, especially, things are quieter now during the chaos. So when I do go in the office, it's always nice to put the podcast on and go through, my day-to-day grind. But you guys keep a lot of folks at Upper Deck company. I don't know if you realize this or not while we work. So we appreciate what you guys do. And today is a big day. One that, man, we've been sweating over getting this release out on time. There were some real challenges. Upper Deck Series 1 is always our biggest release of the year. It has a huge retail component. It has a huge hobby component. And it's rare that you see a product that has, pretty much just ink on paper rookie cards commanding the values that we see with Upper Deck Young Guns rookie cards. They have a long lineage with collectors, and today is the day that the new crop of Young Guns are here. But man, it wasn't easy. I got to give huge props to everyone on our North Carolina and operations team that have busted their humps to get this release out, especially our VP of operations, Suzanne Lombardi. She's a bulldog. She gets it done, and it's tough because everything that we knew about manufacturing trading cards at a large scale kind of had to be reimagined. People work kind of shoulder to shoulder, in the plant to produce these cards, and so those lines had to be changed. And there've been just some strange dynamics that come up in the midst of a pandemic. But the release is out. We had to do a bit of a staggered release. So it started hitting today. There's going to be more hitting over the next week, and I'm excited to see customers' feedback so far. Everyone is. What I love about collectors is everyone's a bit different, right? So you can please one person, and then you could just infuriate another person, and we always take that feedback to heart and try to make great decisions moving forward. But this was an interesting year for sure. So to see it out and to see it was funny. I saw someone last night. Some of the retail arrived early, and when that happens, there's not a ton you can do because it's not like a hobby shop where they know, all right, this doesn't go out. They're also getting fans in and TVs, and they're like, okay, let's put it out. So someone showed an image of a Walmart last night where it had all been taken already, every one of the packs, and it was just an empty rack lying there. So there's a huge demand for this product. With the virtual expo this weekend, I would highly recommend that people look at that. It's a really fun event. The Fall Expo and Spring Expo in Toronto are one of those, I would call them, the things you got to do before you die as a collector. You got to attend the National, you got to attend the Expo, one of your bucket list type of events. But what's kind of cool with the pandemic is they're doing it virtually. The spring one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. We always try to get Series 1 out for the Expo. Our dealers do really well with it. Our collectors use that as a way to put their sets together. So it was critical for our team to get this release out this week early enough that people can start trying to put their sets together. And it'll be fun to see the engagement this weekend. So if folks are interested in that, you never made it to Toronto before, it's really cool. Now it's free to free to go. So check out sportcardexpo.com and you can sign up, register for that event.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I started really getting into hockey this last year, and mainly because one of my friends, her son started playing junior hockey, little league hockey, and he started collecting cards again. And you guys hooked him up with an awesome care package, and it got him really going into collecting. And I know they went hunting for 10s today after work, and hopefully they ran into some because they went through quite a few last year, and they're on the hunt for Lavernier. I kind of told her what those were going for, and she's like, "Oh man, okay, we'll keep an eye out for him." So that's pretty awesome.
Well, wow,
yeah,
for a player who has, let's just talk about Alexis Lafreniere for a bit. This is a guy that we've had our eye on since he was 14, and he became the youngest spokesperson ever for Upper Deck at 16 years old. And we're a company that represents Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Ben Simmons, Wayne Gretzky, Patrick Waugh, all these iconic names. It's not often that we step out on a player like that at the age of 16. So we believe a lot in this young man. And for us, we work really close with the NHL. We wanted to make sure that Upper Deck Series 1, there was an instance in the past where we couldn't have many young guns except for some carryovers, and that really dampened the product. We were able to do some basically tribute young guns cards like Mario Lemieux, who never had a young gun, and those did really well. They're pretty valuable actually. And we didn't produce a lot that year because it was, a year dampened by, a labor dispute. But this isn't the case this year. I mean, everyone enjoyed the hockey season. There's not like people are soured by sports right now. In fact, that's the one great thing to look forward to is what's happening, on ESPN when really ESPN for a while during March and April was nothing except for The Last Dance. Thank God for The Last Dance. That was great. But now to have sport back, it's cool. But here we are in November, and there's not hockey being played because it's it took a long time for the season to finish. It was great to see a Stanley Cup awarded. It was great to see Tampa Bay Lightning win. Very, very talented team. But I'm eager to see the guys get back on the ice. And we approached the NHLPA and the NHL and said, we believe really strongly in this young man, and he's a spokesperson for Upper Deck. We know we have this rule where, and this is what I love about hockey cards, is you have to skate in an official NHL game before you can have a rookie card. And that's so important because, I think about other products. I'm not going to call them out by name, but I think you guys in baseball know some that I'm speaking of. It's really hard to tell if an 18-year-old kid is going to be any good, right off the bat. So for them to kind of allow a player to mature before and make sure they can at least step on the ice or at least make it to the show really helps with the long-term value of trading cards, I think, because prospecting in baseball is something that's, it's a lot of fun, but it'll make you pull your hair out. So it's cool to have a sport that has this rule. But this year, we're in some crazy circumstances. So we approached the leagues about using Lafreniere in Upper Deck Series 1, and it was tricky because we had to have a photo shoot with him in a private location, and he's great. He's great to work with, but you're trying to keep this secret, and there might be a few different jerseys there, and it was before he picked a number, and I think that the Young Guns card, the purists are giving us a bit of heck right now. Why doesn't he have his number 13 on? This isn't right. Bah, 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 bah. But for the fans who understand how crazy this year has been, this is the perfect COVID card. This is the perfect 2020 hockey card because it's going to remind us all of this crazy time we were in and this very special player that's going to be making his debut probably in January. So I've been blown away by the prices that we're seeing on Alexi's Young Guns rookie card. There are Young Guns acetate cards. There's canvas cards. He has some SP cards. So he has a fair amount of content in the product, and the values that he is commanding already are next level. Like, I mean, if this was basketball, he would be Zion, you know? So it's really, really cool to see. And the fact that he's playing in a major market like New York is only going to amplify his values, his interest in his collectibles in the future. You know, if he went to Arizona or if he went to Florida, you know, this might be a different story. But he is a Quebec native, and I know you guys don't follow hockey a ton, but you know that if someone comes from Quebec, people are going to want his cards up there. So
definitely.
I saw a store in Quebec today, and the line was like out the door for the release of Series 1 because they know what he's going to be and how special he's going to be, and how important these cards in particular are. I mean, the good thing for those purists who are upset that we did a photo shoot is this isn't going to be the only Alexis Lafreniere rookie card. And if you're that hardcore, you're probably going to want one of the more premier releases like his SP Authentic or his Ice or his Premier or Ultimate Collection or the Cup. So plenty of other options, you know, coming down the pipe. But for us, it was just really important that he was in here. And obviously it's creating a buzz. And really what you want to do when you have a major release like this is create a newsworthy type of event. And he is that newsworthy player, especially in Canada and in New York, that can create interest in our category and help to create a lasting desire for people to collect cards. So I'm really excited about him.
No, yeah, and it's great that you're able to get him in and to get that excitement behind the product, especially with, you know, what's been going on in the, you know, the season got moved back and everything's changed and everything is different than it has been in the past. So it's nice to be able to have that excitement, you know, to launch it out for you. So that's awesome. Now, you talked about how you know, we're working with the release date for Series 1. We had a couple questions about people already excited about Series 2, and you know, and wanted to know, like, when do you think that is that date already in the books yet, or is that still to be determined at this point?
So Upper Deck Series 1 is one of the craziest release schedules that we have, because usually the teams play their first official games in October, and we're releasing the UD Series 1 literally 5 to 6 weeks later. So to get images, to get it all through our pre-press department, to get everything color corrected, to get all the stats right, to go through the forms, to get it inserted right and in the line, it's an insane undertaking. So we're going to have the same thing happen with Series 2, where they'll probably start playing sometime in January, and Series 2 will be out in probably that February-March timeframe, and it's going to be another crazy type of situation. But if you've never collected hockey cards, I would absolutely say, like, this is one of those years. Like, we've been blessed in this industry by some incredible rookie classes, you know, football with Patrick Mahomes, baseball with, we were just talking about Aaron Judge, basketball with Zion. This is one of those really special years for hockey. Think about Connor McDavid's rookie year. You know, he wasn't the only rookie of note in his rookie season. Jack Eichel is, you know, a very good player. There's a lot of other players too. So this is one of those classes where it's not just one great player. It's going to be a deep class, and the values on this year's product, I think, are going to. This is one that, you know, I've been talking about with my wife. Like, okay, we should probably just buy a case of Upper Deck, a case of Series 2. We'll just put it away for 10 years, and you can thank me later. Because I firmly believe that. I think Upper Deck Series 2 is going to be the best Series 2 product we've ever put out. Quentin Byfield is no joke, and he's in a big market in LA. You know, Tim Stützle is going to have that European flair, and bring a lot of those collectors to the mix. The cool thing about hockey is that I was blown away. This time last year, we were in Sweden for the Global Series. It was my first time ever going overseas for an event like that. And I couldn't believe the passion for collecting overseas, especially hockey. You know, I often say that collecting cards is a cold weather sport. So Canada, obviously, they love it. But, you know, in San Diego, not many people collecting cards. But if you go to New York, if you go to Chicago, if you go to Philadelphia, it's lights out. But I was blown away when I went to Sweden how many people, you know, knew about hockey cards, knew about the category. You know, there were people that loved the premium products. There were kids and families that were working on their base upper deck sets. I actually went to a trading card show on a Sunday before I left over there, and that was really eye-opening to see just how, you know, we often think of this industry as niche, but it's much bigger than that. And it's really exciting to see, you know, an industry having an opportunity to have a worldwide effect with a great stable of players this season. And I think Upper Deck Series 2, the cool thing about hockey is we know some of these players are going to be great. We know that Byfield and Alexi are going to be great, but there's always one or two players that come out of nowhere that are amazing. You know, Brock Besser is one a few years back that people knew was going to be good, but then this kid comes out, great hair, you know, like very likable, playing for the Vancouver Canucks. He gets invited to the NHL All-Star game. He wins the NHL All-Star MVP. Like, no other sport I've seen, maybe besides football, sometimes basketball, can you come out and have such an immediate effect on the sport. So I think it's going to be a really, really fun season for hockey.
Well,
and Big Chef, I know you chose last year. You chose your team. You chose the Oilers. I think you chose wisely. And if you haven't, you know, you don't need to choose a team. Choose a player. All the players in hockey are really a lot of fun to collect.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that I like both your outreach and just some of the things that hockey tries to do. For example, as I'm showing my hometown at the bottom, the World Junior and other run-ups into the draft where you get to see some of these guys that, you know, for example, rosters. So had you attended these, you'd see Getzlaff or Bergeron or Malkin or Sidney Crosby even before he gets drafted play against some small town. You know, this year they'll have it in Lithuania, and next year they'll have it in Finland. And you know, it really brings out that more so than any other sport, you get to see them earlier, sooner, and you get to kind of follow them up. You know, for example, my team, the Wild, have somebody coming from Russia this year. Drafted him in 2015, just now signed him, burned a year, happens. But, you know, I think for the wife's birthday, I think we'll probably spend ripping a case of Series 2 because Kaprizov presumably will be in Series 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a big thing because, you know, no other sport has that, except for soccer, has that international play perspective where, you know, you see these players growing up. So Alexis Lafreniere is already a star in Canada for what he did, you know, in the World Juniors and for Team Canada. He's a national hero pretty much. And when the Canadians, you know, I go up there and I'm trying to watch college football and I'm in some corner of the bar, you know, because everyone else is watching, you know, CHL and CFL gets better play. And I think one night I had to have him change it from curling so I could watch the USC football game. But it's funny that there are nations that are cheering and celebrating kids, you know, 16, 18-year-old, under 20 kids playing in these tournaments. It's pretty crazy. And it's a lot of fun if you watch them or especially if you go to them.
No, yeah, it is. And we had a question if the Series 2 with the Young Guns on that, those have on-ice photos, do you believe?
Yes, that's where it's going to be. a crazy time for us. Again, it'll be much like our normal Series 1. The NHL gave us the other exception the NHL gave us, which was really cool in an NHLPA, was that usually a player has to step on the ice in an official game. Any player who was on the roster for the Stanley Cup tournament, whether they played or didn't play, was available for us to use in Upper Deck Series 1. So it's not just Alexi and that's it. We're going to put a story up on the blog of 10 really good other players that folks should be looking at in Series 1 at upperdeckblog.com in a couple days. But it's not just a one-man show here. So, but Upper Deck Series 2, it will have on-ice photos. People aren't going to be in the backgrounds of them, but I'll have fun cropping some people in for some personalized cards at some point, I'm sure. So,
and put our boy Nick Wasika to work, because we wanted to see. He said I asked him. He's like 5 or 6 photos so far. We'd like to see his photos. We're a little biased there, so he's our guy with the photos.
So real quick on that, if you guys haven't seen the card show, which Nick has been doing for us, there's 3 episodes out right now. We're just waiting on approvals for the 4th, and there'll be a 5th one. But we're signing him up to do another season of it. It's really good.
I was up for season 3, so yeah, cool.
Yeah, Nick Wasika. So for people who don't know, he's a sports photographer, and that whole lifestyle intrigues me. What is that like? Shooting to different places, and he shoots football, and then the next night he'll be shooting hockey, and the next night he'll be at a Twins game. So it's his lifestyle is pretty crazy, but it's so awesome. He's got 2 super cute kids, and he's raising them right and collecting together with them, and he's a passionate fan of the hobby, and I often say there's so many cool stories out there about different types of collectors, and he has an amazing story to tell. He's a great storyteller, and I love what he's done with the card show. I mean, they're long episodes. This isn't like a 3-minute quick webisode. I think the last one was 19 minutes or something like that. But I told him, I don't want you to do every episode has to be 5 minutes. Every episode has to be 10 minutes. If you have content for 20, let's go 20. If it's only 7 minutes to tell this story, let's make it a 7-minute episode. So the card show is what it's called. You can find it on YouTube at UD Vids. And the 4th episode's coming out, and I'm excited to be working with him again. He's a great dude and great ambassador for the hobby.
Yeah, no, we agree. Yeah, we got to hang out with him last year, meet him in person at the National, and he was super awesome. We hung out afterwards, and that was a lot of fun. I'm very excited because I'm a big I love the old school jerseys. I think the Hartford Whalers. I wish they could bring that back, but this year the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be wearing what the NHL is calling reverse retro jerseys, and now that design is coming back.
Now, if you are a casual fan, you've thought about hockey before, go and check this out. Just Google reverse retro jerseys NHL. They are sick. The Quebec Nordiques Colorado Avalanche one is insane. The Mighty Ducks one is crazy, and collectors are already saying this is going to be the most insane mega patch, ever. So, big shout out. You're absolutely right. This is going to be insanely cool for a trading card company. I mean, we've always been telling the NHL, we would love cooler patches, or what else can you throw on there, So when we saw this, we were like, yes. So it's going to make this year's not already going to be really great with the rookie talent. We add this for premium releases later on this season, dude.
I'm just thinking, just an insert set of each team
alone.
Just has a base insert card with these crazy jerseys on, because the Wild, they're stealing back the North Stars look, right? And then the Mighty Ducks, you're actually getting the Mighty Duck on the jersey, and the Avalanche are shooting back to football. That to me is so awesome, because I think a lot of current NHL fans don't understand what the 80s and 90s look like with teams moving.
True.
And how their ownership, there was all kind of teams merged, and they were here and they were there, and it was kind of a vagabond experience, and I think nobody understands that, and so I think it's really cool to see them bring that back and especially kind of get the season going and saying, hey, these awesome. And if you're a fan, the new gear you can get for your team.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. I mean, I think about baseball. Like we love the Padres down here, and I love their throwbacks. But I think about like a throwback to the White Sox. It's the gray bar, the bar. Like it's what I grew up with, but it's not quite as compelling as what the NHL's put together here with these ridiculously cool patches and having the fleur de lis and the cool emblems on that Avalanche jersey that they'll be mixed with the Nordiques. Like, it's so cool. So yeah, I'm super pumped for what that's going to be.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Somebody had sent us a question. They want to know if that you've seen a lot of old inserts being revisited recently, and they want to know if that's going to happen continuously in the future, like with the couple examples they gave were the predictors or the 92, 93 Euro rookies or 97, 98 the specialist. Some of those old favorite insert sets, those going to get revamped and used in more products going forward?
Man, I remember the predictors because when I started in '97, like that was a huge nightmare for us from an execution standpoint. Like, okay, he hit this goal and now we have to make this card and there's a variety of players. So predictors were a bit of a nightmare. They're kind of like a redemption card on steroids. Like I hope we don't do more of those. I know it's fun. Like I think maybe from an EPAC type of platform, we might be able to do something like that and execute on it really well. But just from an impact standpoint, maybe that's not the best idea. But no, we are going to be announcing a new product on Saturday at the Sport Card Expo, and we'll have the whole fact sheet out on it next week. And pretty much what it is much like that retro type product. I mean, we have got some licenses under our belts that we haven't utilized, quite frankly, in a while. Skybox being one of them, and there's so many cool old Fleer inserts. And when Fleer went bankrupt, there was so much negativity and hobby disdain for the company just because of kind of how they went out, and people were left with redemptions and just a bad customer experience. But the legacy now, you look back at that, it's like, wow, they had some really cool products, and we have executives on our team that were at Fleer. So we've got that knowledge base to make it the right way to bring some of these things back, and I'm super pumped for what collectors are going to be seeing this year in hockey with regard to those types of throwback types of designs and inserts.
Well, I have one request that if you guys do a Fleer retro release, that it's this one. We do 91 Fleer yellow border mustard. I think that would be outstanding. Everybody loves that. No, probably one of the ugliest cards ever, but just one of those everybody knows.
You know which one, Big Chef? I've been. The team won't do it, but I want to do it just on my own, just as a promo for like maybe it'll be the national design one year. Because I get a little freedom there, but I think it was the 88 with like the white with the red and blue. It's going. That's just my youth, I love that design. So I think that would resonate with people if they had a Tiger Woods version or a Jordan or a LeBron. So
Definitely.
One of our listeners has painted us pictures of our favorite players from that set. I have a George Brett he actually painted with that 88 awesome. Fleer logo. Yeah, and James, and it's great. It looks awesome, and again, it takes you back. It's like, if you collect in the 80s, you know exactly what year that card was made.
That one, yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I mean, at least speaking to Ship's subtle joke there, it's one of the first sets I actually remember opening, just because I was blinded after opening it, seeing bright yellow. But no, I mean, honestly, I'm sure I was four or five whenever I opened it, but I distinctly remember opening these bags.
Yeah.
So at least they stand out.
Well, and Stephen, to that effect, what we're seeing in this time frame with the pandemic is my team that I manage for customer care has never ever been busier with more obscure and random questions about old product because what's happening is folks are stuck at home and they're going back through their old shoe boxes and opening up old boxes and what's this worth? What do I have? Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And they're re-engaging with their children as well. And they're rediscovering their love for the hobby. So all of us in this industry are at this potentially a tipping point, I would say, where we could let this be a flash in the pan, or we can embrace these lapsed collectors and these new collectors and try to keep them part of the fold. And that's really what my hope is. Often I'll see social media can be so negative, but I'll see, someone post, hey, I got this. Is this any good? And like 15 people are like, no, you suck. This is terrible. That's a $5 card. That's collector's choice. Bleh. But we should be saying, hey, man, it's a cool card. You're not gonna retire on it, but glad you're back in the hobby, and whatnot. So it's a really interesting time because as collectors, I think about myself as a youngster. I loved Metallica growing up, and I never wanted Metallica to sell out and be like a big band.
Black Album.
And I feel that way about the hobby. I think collectors feel that way about the hobby sometimes. Like we want to keep it to ourselves. But we're all better if it's a bigger hobby. All our collections, as we're seeing right now with enhanced interest in the hobby, everyone's tide, the rising tide lifts all ships. All of our collections are more valuable today because there's more people interested in it. So I just hope that with this, that all collectors can keep kind of a positive mentality about embracing those newcomers and lapsed collectors.
What was the emphasis? You talked earlier about the golf releases coming out. We talked about it on the previous episode. What was the push to start doing golf again?
Well, with golf, there's not as many players that come in each year and dominate. It takes a while. So, I think that with different sports, you have to wait a little while for players to develop. And another thing that we've seen is, we can make some products that maybe we don't need to make them every year. Splendor for hockey is a perfect example. We're trying something new, or buybacks. These different niche products that we've made over the years that have been really successful and really kind of beloved. I saw someone had a tweet the other day that Splendor got them back into collecting hockey cards. That's kind of how we feel about golf. You don't want to put it out every year and you've got a future watch checklist for SP Authentic and there's one player of consequence there. So I think the strategy we've had has been okay. I would have liked to see a golf release maybe 2 years ago, but what most people don't realize is that there's not a players association for the PGA. You have to pursue individual deals with each of these individual athletes, and golfers are paid a lot of money, like a lot. So there's a lot of negotiation that goes into these deals. There's a lot of maybe we can do something for your charity. There's a lot of things that happen to make it cost effective to sign a deal for players. Like I would love for Phil Mickelson to be in every release, but the man is he gets paid a lot of money just for 15 minutes of his time for a commercial. So it's not, you're not able to include everyone that you would like because there's not that players association that grants you group licensing. So it's similar to NASCAR where you have to chase down each individual athlete. Every athlete has their own approvals process, which takes a lot more time as an organization for us to go back and deal with each of the agents and each of the athletes. So pulling off a golf release is really, really tough. And I was telling you guys beforehand, it takes about 2 years to get it done. So I'm super, super excited about the golf releases. But what I would tell you all, if you're watching and you like golf, get your pre-orders in now, because a lot of these numbers were done before the pandemic hit, and we couldn't have anticipated this amount of interest in the category and in golf. So I think that what's out there is going to be snatched up very quickly, and is going to make us work even harder to try to get another group of golf products together in maybe in the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, and I was talking to someone here at Dallas, actually. Someone swung a local show. There's, we're going to talk about it later here, but 300-400 tables. But in particular, one of our good friends, friend of my coworker, is a longtime golf collector. He goes to the Masters usually every year. He actually helped JSA authenticate a flag that was signed by someone because they were questionable about it. And I was asking him, like, Upper Deck's coming out with the product. Are you looking forward to it? He's yeah, I'm probably going to break a few boxes, maybe a case. I don't know. So it was really great to see. Not everyone is just the main
totally. And Stefan, I think the other reason that it was important for us to bring it back is we're seeing something quite amazing with the EPEC platform that we have. If you guys haven't tried it, it's really cool. UpperDeckEPAC.com. You can open a free digital pack every day, but the cool thing is if you're actually buying boxes or cases or packs, some of the cards that you see are physical, and many of them are actual scans of the actual card that you can have shipped to you, or you could trade it with other people. But what we've been able to do on this platform is really unique, where you've got hockey cards, you've got Marvel cards, you've got Disney cards, you've got Goodwin Champions cards, you've got coins, NHLPA licensed silver coins. You've got memorabilia. We're doing blind boxes with memorabilia. So we're seeing this crazy situation where someone is trading a Minnie Mouse card for a Connor McDavid card, who's trading it for a Wolverine card, who's trading it for, a Wayne Gretzky coin. I never in a million years thought there would be this type of cross-pollination. I thought much like you, Stefan, where people stay in their lanes with regard to collecting. They might dip a bit out sometimes, but if you're a golf collector, you're a golf collector. But we're really seeing a lot of activity that indicates that people are more open to collecting outside their normal realm with EPAC. So for us to put golf on there as well, the belief is that it's going to help create, cross-pollination with other collectors to dip outside their comfort zone as well. So I'm excited to see what happens with some of the product, the golf product that'll end up on EPAC.
Will there also be golf be available at retail at all?
There will be no golf at retail. It is hobby and EPAC exclusive.
Okay. And will Jordan have any cards in golf? Because he's a big avid golfer.
So, God, honestly, the best way to pick up Jordan autos for a while before The Last Dance was an old Upper Deck golf product. I have not seen the final checklist. I don't know if he's in it for sure or not. I know that we used him previously in the past, but we chased down some pretty big names for this release, so I don't know if we were able to include him with regard to autograph. But I think maybe in some of the more premium releases, you might see him.
We also, one of our friends, Kevin, wanted to know, there was rumors of you guys making a W or an AEW card set. Is there any truth? A little wrestling? The American.
Yeah, there are some rumors out there. They've been swirling. I have no comment. I have no comment on
Wait
that.
and see, huh? I like it.
However, I will say absolutely Upper Deck is. We know that, again, with having kind of exclusivity on a platform like EPAC, a patent pending platform like that, that merges the digital and the physical and that online experience. We want to have a diverse offering of products for our fan base. And we want to, when I started at Upper Deck, we had 5 different licenses. We were cooking. So I think that we are absolutely looking at other opportunities outside the mainstream and including the mainstream for future releases. I'm excited to see what the company does there, and I think collectors should be too. Because if you think about it, with regard to some of the biggest innovations in trading card history, they've come from Upper Deck. They continue to come from Upper Deck. I'm just really proud of a lot of the people I work alongside with. I feel like I'm the the one that might be underperforming with a lot of these creative folks. It's really a privilege to work at Upper Deck, and it's just a lot of fun too to see what they're coming up with next, and some of the things that I wish maybe I'll save it for a book when I'm 80. Some of the things that we wanted to do that we couldn't do it's amazing. So I just
day one purchase if you ever get around to writing that.
Yeah.
When I just want to let you know, you're doing a really good job, because ACL Cardboard in the chat said not a hockey person, doesn't collect hockey, but is going to get into it this year just from watching and hanging out with this episode. So,
well, no, and I'm not asking people to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm not here as a cheerleader. I'm here as someone also, who loves the hobby, and we've seen this happen where it goes from one sport to another sometimes in terms of what the hot rookie class is. And if you could go back to Connor McDavid's rookie year and buy all of the product you could, you'd buy everything, even the products that people said, oh, this product's not going to be great, like an O-Pee-Chee Platinum. Like, that has one of the best odds of pulling a Connor McDavid hard-signed autograph in it. It's a product that I still think is undervalued. So this is one of those types of opportunities. And I know Lafreniere hasn't skated yet. And I know a million things could happen. Connor McDavid got hurt his rookie season towards the end. So there's a lot of different things that could happen. But I believe strongly that this is one of those years for collecting hockey that people are going to look back on for the next 10, 20 years and be like, wow, that was a pretty good year.
Well, and the other thing, we've talked about this before as we end up tonight, is that being able to buy a base product like Upper Deck, where the autographs and the relics, the memorabilia is not the drive. It's a base rookie card. You're only getting $6 a box out of a 50 card checklist, which is pretty good. But you're able to pull it and not break the bank to do that. And it's one of the most sought after, most collectible cards. And as a rookie card, like, I just love rookie cards. That's kind of my thing. That is amazing to me that, anybody, and there's so many options. I mean, you have the 10s, you have retail, blaster boxes, you can buy hobby boxes, you buy cases, you can get on e-pack. There are so many options to be able to do that for this product, and it's so accessible, but it's still so collectible, is amazing to me. And after all of these years, it continues to be like the go-to card. If you want the Connor McDavid card, right, or you want the Jack Hughes card, you can't get the autograph. That is the one that you want to get. And I love that about this and what you guys are doing, and just your excitement behind the product and the things that you guys are doing is awesome. And I think this golf thing's going to be cool because it's a whole new generation now of new people that are taking off in this sport. And it's no longer just Tiger and Phil. There's 10, 12 guys now that are really taking off. So I think it's a great time for the release.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one thing that we didn't talk about that, just with regard to growing the hobby and efforts that we make there is this right behind me. This is hanging all throughout Tim Hortons locations throughout Canada. This is, let me just pan down here, but $1 for trading cards.
Yep.
Like, when do you see $1 pack of trading cards? And the trading cards, you guys, are pretty freaking cool. They've got a binder program, but if you get 3 of these cards, and you can see like the rainbow effects to them, like they're embossed. Like, this is not a traditional $1 pack. Like, Tim Hortons steps up to finance a lot of the content that we put into this product, and to see thousands of locations across Canada selling hockey cards. It does something that I talked about earlier. It's that rising tide that lifts all ships. It's that creating awareness. It's that lapsed collector that, hey, I haven't thought about hockey cards for a while, but I'm here to get my donut and cup of coffee. My kid's in the back seat. Let's buy a few packs. So this released last week. So this is one of those really crazy times in hockey cards where you have a huge, huge release in Canada with the Tim Hortons program. And then you have a week later Upper Deck Series 1 hitting. It's nutty. So, here in the States, we don't understand how big Tim Hortons is, but it's basically like the McDonald's of Canada. So
Starbucks, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
let's bring Tim's to more Tim's in the United States is better. Let's bring some Tim Hortons to California.
Chicago, Ohio, Minnesota.
Yeah,
I
we
think
were
actually-
able to do a couple of small regional programs with Tim's in the States last year. Not as robust as this big program. This is one. It's so funny. We're all here, like, you know, people in Michigan and people in Buffalo driving to Toronto or driving up to go buy packs of cards and bring them back. So it's one of those,
yes, all of these hockey cards.
No,
I mean, I have a
really
coworker.
don't. Those go right in the glove
box,
box, and they try not to open them on the way home. So,
Right.
which brings me to a good point. How often do you guys hear about someone getting a box, getting in the car, and they cannot make it home without opening? Like, please do not bust and drive, people. You're going to damage corners. You don't want to have shaky hands when you're driving, but I see it all the time.
Dude, I don't make it to the car.
Yeah, you're smart. You're smart. Just do it in the shop. If you don't have the restraint, don't try to get home. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, who keeps penny sleeves and top loaders in the glove box just in case you get the itch and you pull something nice?
Big chef.
You know,
Good thinking.
yeah.
Good thinking.
And I mean, at least for me and Ange here, we've had our best pulls in the car, both that and some really nice other product. I'm not saying don't wreck in the car, but definitely don't do it while driving.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Good.
Use penny sleeves.
Yes, be safe. Use protection.
Yes.
Exactly.
Chris, anything else before we appreciate? I mean, it's 45 minutes now. We really appreciate all your time. I know it's been a big day for you guys and continues to be. But anything before we head out with you tonight?
No. Well, one last thing I would say.
Yeah.
Again, we've talked about some of the diversification that we've seen and some of the ways that the pandemic has affected the hobby. There is one other little area that maybe collectors aren't noticing that maybe they should, and that's Marvel cards. You know, we have a robust offering of Marvel releases, and we've been a partner with them for a while. But we do a lot of other entertainment products. We do Alien, we do Predator, we do X-Files, and those are all nice and niche. We do Bond. Bond's really good. Our Bond offerings have been really good. But there has been a huge resurgence in interest in Marvel trading cards like I haven't seen. And if you look at the values of some of these cards, it's nutty. So those are available on ePack. Those are available in what the other thing that I think really helped this too is hobby shops would be like, I don't know, maybe I'll buy a box. I don't know. But when we put it on ePack over the last few years, like who doesn't think like a cool sketch card or a Stanley autograph or those types of things, you know, that are just so iconic, a Chris Hemsworth autograph or a Thor piece of costume memorabilia, like that's cool. So if you have kids like I do, like I can't get my kids into collecting hockey. They're a little bit into Goodwin. They'll watch hockey with me, but they're not quite there yet. They cannot pronounce the names for the life of them, but they love the heck out of some Marvel cards. And I would definitely say that if you're a parent, definitely a good way to start your youngster. But if you're a serious collector, I'm telling you, the values on some of these cards as of late and releases are surging. And I with the way Marvel is going and the stable of movies they're going to be pumping out in the next few years, I can't see that bubble popping.
Well, and I was actually dealing with a sports reporter out of Detroit that he was wondering where his package was. Simple request. Hey, here it is. I've actually expedited it. It should be here in whatever timeline. But I looked at his order and it was like all Marvel, all signatures, all sketch cards, and like one or two hockey cards. Michigan.
Yeah.
But it was really nice to see. It's not just basketball. It's not just hockey. It's not just this. It's people that like sketch cards or signatures of some of the actresses.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, I mean, the other thing that's unique about entertainment properties and a powerhouse like Marvel is we all know that there is going to be some type of labor dispute that happens in the future that's going to affect the category, whether it be NHL, NFL, NBA, MLB, you know, what have you. There'll be something that comes up that causes a dip. it's not like Wolverine's going on strike, you know. It's not like Cyclops isn't going to be in more Marvel movies. So there's going to be more and more content pushed out, and it's going to create that situation where, you know, we grew up with trading cards, but there's so many people that have grown up with Marvel movies now, and the cinematic universe as it reaches into Netflix and other regular TV, etc. That it's a weird opportunity to get in on the ground floor. I remember myself in the 80s at trading card shops all the time, and all I would look at was the baseball cards. I would see the football box, I would see the hockey box, I would see the basketball box sitting there in the early 80s, and I was like, who collects this stuff? And little did I realize, you know, they weren't making a ton of that stuff, and that was the stuff to collect. So Chris Carlin's insider tip before I leave is look at Marvel cards. Like, seriously.
Awesome. One of our good buddies of the show, James, had mentioned in the chat that older Marvel cards were going very well on ComC. And, you know, we for those of us that played Little League growing up, we relate to baseball. And to your point, to extrapolate on that, you know, for some folks, you know, hey, I can't relate to baseball cards or hockey cards or football cards, but we've all seen movies, and you know, whether it's Marvel or another property, you know, when those cards are released, you know, my wife has collected some non-sports stuff, and I've got very deep into certain products from other companies that are non-sports because she wants her favorite actresses, you know, screen used, you know, relic cards and stuff. And Marvel is such a huge, almost transcendent property to where if you can get in on the ground floor or close enough, so to speak. And usually if people are going out and getting the old stuff, it's almost indicative of future sales because, you know, once you go get everything that's old, you're going to want something that's new. And so if you guys continue to produce that moving forward, you know, now you have this growing consumer demand.
Well, I would say just go to completed auctions on eBay for Tom Holland Upper Deck autograph, and it will freak you out because it goes for more than most any athlete.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome that there's another aspect, another consumer demand within our niche hobby and industry.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, it's not just baseball cards, and often this trading card hobby is referred to as baseball cards, right? I used to collect baseball cards. It's
every time I say I work for Upper Deck, the baseball card company. Yeah.
Well, you guys did have one of the most iconic cards in the history of cards.
Yeah.
One of the most recognizable. But yeah, that baseball card bucket, it's kind of anything and everything. You know, my old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards from a kid. Yeah. You know, those are baseball cards. Well, no, they're not. But yes, they are. As at least, you know, in the layperson's mind, they are.
Yeah. So that's my going tip. So thank you guys for your time. I love what you guys do. Please keep it up. And thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Chris, thank you so much for making time. We appreciate it. We'll see you again soon, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
No, he's like, real quick, just for him to give us an hour tonight on a huge
on release day.
I mean, it's awesome. He didn't have any hesitation hopping on. Look at that. Is that really Tom Holland's $500, $500?
Well, and that's just the not sold. The sold prices, let alone some of the asking prices for the much rarer versions that I saw.
Crazy. Yeah, I love it.
I picked this up this weekend.
Oh, I remember those.
Just for a fun rip one of these days.
Something that's cool about Chris, and he actually said it, is, you know, he's not here to be a rah-rah cheerleader and try to get you to sip the Kool-Aid. He's just passionate about what he does. And he's a collector that happens to have a high-profile job within the industry. But that's what's awesome. It bleeds through. You can tell that his passion's coming from not, I need you to buy my product because that's what, you know, keeps my paychecks rolling in. It's like, hey, you got to buy it because hockey cards are really cool, and here's why. And this is my opinion, and that you can tell that it's sincere in everything he says.
Definitely.
And the reflection in our chat that there are people out there that don't necessarily buy hockey that are now interested because of Chris's passion, speaks to his integrity and of course the products that Upper Deck continuously produces time and time again, and their customer engagement is unparalleled in this hobby. I mean, they are the top, and everybody else is definitely looking up at them, probably from a distance. There's really not a close second.
No, and the thing is that there were guys tonight in the chat that said, "Hey, I don't collect hockey," but 2 people in here said it's weird. If you told me before this, show, I was gonna come on and say I was gonna go get some hockey cards tonight, I would have thought you're crazy. But no, it happened, and I think it's like, Steph, we opened my first box of hockey cards together last year. It was Series 2. And then I got in. I bought the complete set, Series 1 and 2 online last year, and went out and bought some random Young Guns. And it's fun. The 10s are cool. Then you can repurpose the 10s if you want. I know Steph does that. I mean, it's just, it makes me wish that they could have, somehow do a baseball release, just one baseball release, right? Just one football release, one basketball release. God, it would be glorious. People would be knocking down the doors for Upper Deck baseball cards. I'm telling you right now. I was looking through some old sets.
2-year repurpose thing. I mean, who doesn't have a USB drive laying around and a spare phone cable, a charged cable? I mean, on my laptop, I have an adapter just for USB ports and the power cable.
Yeah, and yeah,
pens,
pencils. Yeah, and it's nice. And then if it's somebody's player, and then it's a cool thing for someone's collection. So. I think we're very lucky to have him on. And then, Nick Wasika was in the chat. I mean, he's got 6 cards. It looks like so far he's seen 6 photos used, and he's doing his card show, and those videos are awesome. So check those out. It's a fun day. I'm almost as excited about today as I am when Topps Flagship drops, because that's how I feel like this product is. And I'm not even like I said, I'm not even a super in-depth hockey guy. I'm asking for knowledge, but it's cool. When base rookie cards really mean something again. Like that to me is like make base great again, right?
I love it.
Let's get into it. The week that was last week's releases, Topps in week 140. We had card 362, Fred McGriff, first baseman, Toronto Blue Jays, sold 1,904. And then card 363, Merrill Kelly, pitcher, Arizona Diamondbacks, one shy of 1,700, makes him the all-time low on print run for Topps Living. So currently, the only amount of Topps Living sets you could make, 1,699 sets with Merrill Kelly. And not a shocker, relief pitcher for Arizona Diamondbacks. Like, I'm surprised it was that many, right? We also had 2020 Panini Illusions football drop as the only hobby release. Hot off the presses, this week's new releases. Topps Living week 141 for 364 Carlos Carrasco pitcher, Cleveland Indians, and 365 Devin Williams rookie card, rookie of the year, pitcher of the Milwaukee Brewers. Popped out this week.
Good card. Last week's, this week's coming right up.
Yeah, and Devin Williams, I know I sold quite a few of his rookie cards so far out of Update. He's been a little bit of a hot property as his first cards come out, and Carrasco's come back from he had cancer, correct? And he made it back. It was about a year and a half ago.
Leukemia, was it?
Leukemia, yes, you're correct. And then if you look at Devin Williams' hat, it even has I think little salt sweat stains in the hat itself. Yes, that's pretty nice. Plus that new Brewers logo is still awesome.
If I'm not mistaken, he was actually in the run-up for the Cy Young, wasn't he?
I think he was in the running. Yeah, he had a really good season, kind of out of nowhere too.
Did get National League Rookie of the Year, so there's that.
Yeah. So very nice. Again, 2021 Upper Deck Series 1 hockey drop today. You can find a box for about $120. It's 24 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. You're going to get 1 Dazzler insert, 6 debuts. So it's going to be a combination of these debut dates, NHA Worldwide, predominant or rookie retrospective, 4 UD canvas, 4 UD portraits, and 6 Young Guns in a box. It's a 250 card base set with 50 Young Guns. A couple of young guns you're going to look for, as we talked about, is the Fernier, and they're going for like 250 plus right now. Now, Steph, you're going to have to help me with some of these other names. Ivy, Michael DiPietro, and not related to Rick DiPietro. They both play goalie, and they both have the same last name.
Alexander Alexiev.
There we go. And then Joel,
Verata.
Kiefer Bellows, Mikhail Burden, and Jake Oettinger. Ottinger. There we go. So, just some names that these are the guys that Steph told me about, and then I also was told about Nick Robertson in the chat as a guy to go look. Yeah, to go look for as well. So I might have picked up a couple of these young guns so far.
So we choose the retro rookies. Kiefer Bellows, obviously being Brian Bellows' son. Speaking of the North Stars, little
nice
tie in there, even if he is a year.
And we know that Chris said earlier, players that usually have to make their NHL debuts to be on the ice to be eligible for rookie cards, but because of the season, the NHLTA allowed for an exception. That's how Alexis got his card in Series 1. There's also a couple of new parallels. One's a French parallel. Base versions are 1 in every 30 hobby packs. They're also going to have young gun version, French young guns. The UD Portrait and Portrait rookies are set up with an early. Those are ones to look for. There's also debut dates. That's new for 2021, and they take a look back to previous seasons and showcase the first games of last year's rookie crop. There is acid inserts, and those are 5. There's 5 different inserts to get that treatment. And then there's some really rare inserts. Day with a Cup, which is 1 in every 2,800 packs. Ceremonial Puck Drop, the same there. 2020 NHL Draft short prints. Those are 1 in every 12,960 packs. And then if you're lucky enough to get a ceremonial puck drop autograph, those are 1 in 30,000 packs. Autographs, they're not the main part of this, but you will find them, I think, in every other box. And they are all live. There are 0 redemptions in this product.
Can I just say, at least with the preview images that we have, they're giving Panini a run with creative, colorful, gorgeous inserts and parallels. I mean, using the hockey stick to showcase the memorabilia, that's beautiful.
Cool. And then that 80s insert with the
looking like a place where you might get some good barbecue wings.
And then the 90s laser insert, the Dazzler, the portraits that have the 90s lasers on in the background.
And then the Saved by the Bell insert there. I gotta love it. Great designs, great color, and I do kind of like the Starsy Galaxy-esque young
Snowflake. I mean,
Snowflake. Sure.
Yeah, it's nice, and again, it's great to them. They can bring out the number 1 overall pick in Series 1. That's pretty awesome, pretty special. Also this year, 1920 Panini Immaculate basketball dropped today. $2,700 a box, 1 pack per box, 6 cards per pack, 3 autos, 2 mem, and that means you're going to get a base card. It's a 100-card base set with RPA rookie autos making up the last 39 cards of that set. And those have on-card signatures and prime swatches. They are one of the most sought-after rookie cards of the year. They're also going to have one-of-one dual-man logo dual-man autos featuring 2 players. Those are on-card autographs with patches from game-used jerseys. So you're going to get 2 logo men and on-card autos and a game-used logo man, not a player-worn. Another thing that the brand's known for is using stats and milestones for autograph themes and print runs. So, like jersey numbers, draft picks, that kind of stuff, points in the game kind of thing. That's pretty cool. They're also using sneaker pieces and both sneak peeks, inserts, and soul of the game. And they have some other tough relics to pull, which use brand logos, team slogans, and jumbo patches. Immaculate, again, very high-end release that comes out today, but with the logo man patches, and also the RPAs are pretty popular with basketball collectors. Check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on these releases. What's brewing next week's releases? We have 2020 Topps Chrome Black baseball dropping, 2020 Panini Impeccable football, 1920 Panini 1 and 1 basketball, and 2020 Rookies and Panini Rookies and Stars football drop all next week. That comes out actually on, I think, Black Friday, or Saturday of that week. It comes out the following Monday. I apologize. It's the following Monday. Rookies and Stars was supposed to be this week. It got pushed back. We're going to talk about next week's show because it comes out on Monday before the show. So I don't want it to kind of be old news, so we'll talk about it then.
Speaking of Chrome Black.
There we go. That's what the autos.
However long ago.
Yeah. About a month or so ago. We'll hop into it. The Infield Chatter Infield Chatter Hobby Talk portion of the show. Now, this is a rainbow. This is the original rainbow, guys. At G Bennett Post, George Bennett posted a picture. Complete color sorted 1954 Topps set of 250 cards. Now, you guys need to check this out because it's a visual thing. I mean, it's a pretty sharp rainbow of the cards. So you go the reds, the orange, yellow, green, blue, and white. I mean, is that not the original rainbow?
It really is. And then, honestly, without having looked into it, it's probably pretty close to how the print sheets were made. You had just descending in color.
Yeah.
It's pretty seeing it all laid out like that.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I think we've all, whoever collects vintage has looked at your set of 54s and go, these really probably should be in, color coordinated, collated kind of a thing, right? And to see it like this, it's like I've never thought about doing it to that extreme. That is pretty neat that somebody took the time, and it really is neat when you go color by color like a rainbow.
Yeah, well, there's some bangers in that set too. One being Ernie Banks rookie card where he looks like he's about 13. So
Ernie, Hank Aaron, it's a good set.
Yeah,
no Mickey Mantle. Who else wasn't in it? Was it Musial that wasn't in it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple big names that they didn't have contracts for.
Interesting. Yeah, I just thought that was cool. So there's a surprise super duper uber short print that was brought to my attention this week. At JM Big O's tweeted out, "Holy hell, George Brett super short print 2020 update blaster box hit." I didn't know this card existed until this, and I got tagged instantly. I talked to him right away. The price, it sold for $350 on eBay. He had it for $600 or best offer. It was just more than what I'm willing to spend on a George Brett card at this point. But it's still the only one I've ever seen. So hopefully it went to a nice Brett collector that's better than I am, or that has bigger cojones. But not I was excited. There's only 5 of these. Magic Johnson has one, Ichiro, David Ortiz, and Derek Jeter, besides Brett. So,
and I hope they protected it because it was a card pull.
Yes, no, he did have it. Yeah, later on. So no, what a great pull. But I just when it's a manufactured thing, it's really hard for me to really pull the trigger on something like that, where it's just really I don't know.
What's the estimated print run on the SSP?
They don't.
About
Cracknell didn't even know. There's no pack odds.
25-ish.
Yeah, but there's no pack odds. So maybe 5.
Yeah. No, there's got to be more than that. The super short prints typically have.
But
25.
That's a super short print. This is a super short print. There's 3 S's.
Right. No, usually the super short prints, so you have your short prints, right? Which are usually, there's about 1,500 of them or something like that in a traditional release, maybe 2,000. You have the super short prints, which usually have between 100 to 250. And then you have your 3 S's, which usually have somewhere between 10 to 25.
Yeah.
But Brent Williams would be somebody to reach out to and see if he has a guess because like with Heritage, when you have the photo variations, those are usually out of 10 based on pack odds. The 3S's, I mean, it may be 5. I would think they're probably.
But how much what would you like? For me, even at 350 was a push. Maybe $100 I would do it. That's probably the limit I would be at on that card. But what would you do if it was, if it was a McGuire or Steph, if it was like a Puckett one or a Mauer or something like that came out that was.
So I paid $200 for the 2017 or 2018 mini metal McGuire, where they only have 3 from Ginter. I'm not a Ginter fan, but as soon as there's a McGuire on the checklist, I end up having to get the whole damn thing anyway, the whole rainbow. That particular year, I was in a position to be able to acquire one of the 3 medals. The first one I think sold at $250. I think I spent like $220 out the door. But yeah, I think that'd probably be about my cap. I don't think I could go too much more than $200. But again, a lot of it just depends on time and place, right?
Yeah.
Just because you have $200 on this release doesn't mean you're going to have it on Series 2 next year or 2 years from now. And, how bad do you need it? And then again, the other thing too is the aesthetics. That's a good looking George Brett card, but not all super short prints are good looking. Most are. But that's one of those ones where if it's a stupid picture of McGuire, it'd be like it's a hell of a lot easier to say no thanks.
Yeah. No, it was a little hard to pass up, but I at least got the first option to buy, which was pretty cool. But I had to move. So we're gonna go through a bunch of releases now. We could have put these in the new release section, but they've all come out at random days and time. So just random online Topps releases. First up, 2021 Bowman Next Wave 1. They did this last year. It came out, I don't know when, this last week, and it's sold out already. There's going to be, I think, 5 waves. It's $50 a pack. In your pack, you're going to get all 21 cards for that wave set, plus 1 sticker autograph. So you're going to get, this is the top 100 prospects in professional baseball determined by Baseball America. So the first set was, I don't know if it was 21 cards and then numbered 1 through 21, but it doesn't say what number of prospect that they were.
Based on this, it looks like they went in order.
I don't know so. Because Clinic and I don't know. I don't think Sixto Sanchez is the third best prospect. That's the one thing that pushes it around for me. Grayson Rodriguez maybe, but it's just interesting. So, but real quick, guys. You have 100, right? How does 21 into 100 work for?
That's what I thought too. I
should have been 20.
So is this like a Texas Rangers Series 1 thing where Wave 3 is only going to get 19 cards to correct the error, the mathematical
somebody
error?
Somebody can't do math. Somebody had an extra toe they were counting that day, and they're like, oh.
They're going to get to Wave 5, and somebody's going to go, uh-oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so
it's like
that came
out. Like Carl Lewis singing the national anthem when he's halfway through. Uh-oh.
And then there was Topps UK, and I don't have a price on this, but it was 24 packs a box, 10 cards per pack. You're going to get 6 UK inserts and 4 regular inserts. It was only it's a 200 card base set, not intended for North American audiences. It's available exclusively through Topps UK website. So what it is, it's basically the top 200 cards from Series 1 and 2 with the Union Jack logo underneath the Topps logo, or Union Jack flag under the Topps logo. And it was supposed to really promote the London series this year, but that didn't happen. So it goes back and highlights last year's series.
That's a sweet looking parallel.
The Big Ben parallel.
With the flag and the Big Ben.
Yeah. Good looking set. They're not super expensive. I mean, I picked up Buster Posies for a couple bucks a piece. And so your team sets are 5 to 6 players, give or take, which weren't too bad. Some teams might have more than others, but
yeah, I think my 7-card team set cost the cards themselves cost I think $11. Shipping was $5-6.
Yeah,
so,
it's not too bad. But again, the only reason I knew about this is because somebody said it in I think Ben sent it in our DM, and I kind of I kind of missed it, and then I saw it, and I was like, wait, what? They had UK, huh? Like,
so,
okay.
I'm in a Facebook group that I was added to by a fellow A's collector through Twitter, and he lives in England. And so I'm in a Facebook group for the UK. And I don't usually participate much in the group since I don't live in the UK. But that's how I first heard about it. And I guess shipping prices to the UK were ridiculous, despite the fact that it was, intended for that audience. But yeah, I think they're cool and they're trying to reach out. I mean, this would be like a Topps version of O-Pee-Chee back in the Junk Wax days. It's a
or even Topps 88 UK minis.
Yeah, because I know that they were doing what was the Japanese release that they were doing for a while that was like similar to Dynasty. They were doing that for a few years. It was a higher end release, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a Japanese only. I know that they've released a few Japanese only releases over the last.
They had some Bowman. I know they had some Bowman draft stuff.
Bowman
Asian.
Yeah, Bowman Asia, I think. And but yeah, I mean, I got the A's team set through 2 different dealers for $26 total. Granted, the A's had Luzardo, Puck, and Murphy, so not every team is going to get cost more because of the rookies. So a lot of it just depends on what your checklist. But I would imagine for most everybody, just unless you're looking at one of the big rookies, you're probably looking at under $25 shipped for a team set if it's your thing. Yeah, it's a nice parallel set.
Yeah. Then there's 2020 Bowman Chrome X. I found out by a tweet from Phil Hughes. He's going to be working with this. This is through StockX. Remember last year, the release includes a 100-player checklist with green X-Fractor base cards numbered out of 31. There's gold X-Fractor red. There's a whole bunch of colors. Each card will be graded and slabbed by PSA. Similar to last year, the green X-Fractor parallels are exclusive to 2020 Bowman Chrome X releases, and they can only be bought through this drop. There are 1,000 boxes and 500 cases available, so you can go and you'll be able to bid on StockX to buy the button, to buy it, I think, or buy the boxes. And I don't think that's started yet. So there is, Bowman Chrome X, again, some more stuff. And then there's 2020 Topps On Demand Topps Mini Baseball that came out. Topps Mini Baseball returns for another year. It's a 1,000 card set. So it's Series 1, 2, and Update. Includes all the cards from those sets. It also look for 85, 35th anniversaries, short print image variations, dual autos of your favorite players and all-stars. It's $25 a pack, 35 cards per pack. You're going to get 30 base cards, 3 numbered parallels, 2 1985 anniversaries or 2 short prints, and then 1 in every 25 packs will have an auto or a dual auto. So, mini cards.
Interesting.
These were super duper. I remember in 18, yeah. They're super inexpensive. I looked back at 18. I bought some Garrett Hampson ones, and they were even some of the more popular players were pretty. If you have a guy or a team, it's probably best to buy on the secondary market than versus buying the packs.
Because
to give you a heads up. So
I mean, if you get perfectly collated, it's going to take you 29 boxes, 28.57 or something like that at $25 a piece. It's going to cost you $714 to complete a set if it was perfect collation. It's like, what are we doing, man? 1,000 card set, a mini online exclusive. It's like, when I saw this, I was like, this is the kind of stuff that irritates the.
Why don't they just sell the mini set with a random pack with the inserts and sell the set for $100, right?
Or sell team sets of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Just 1,000 cards is a lot. This is like Topps Total last year or this year, where you're spending $1 a card, $900 for a Topps Total complete set. If that's your thing, are you friggin' kidding me? For Topps Total, nobody wants a mini anymore either.
KBS has been my shaking your head. You're going to buy the team set, so you're going to support the product.
Hell yes, I'm buying it. Don't worry about that part. We're not talking about that. We're talking about not what Ben is do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. Damn right, it's coming in my PC. George,
2020 Bowman Draft first edition. You could have bought, was it yesterday or today? It was $14 a pack. If you wanted to buy a box, that had 24 packs, so running about $360. One pack's going to give you 10 cards of the 200 card base set. These are basically the same cards as the main set, with a stamp to say first edition on them. Remember, this happened with Bowman as well. 9 of the first 10 picks in the 2020 draft are in there. Usually they leave the second pick out to put in Bowman the following year. There are also some Chrome autographs that are randomly inserted. Those are the only Chrome cards in the set. The checklist is only 17 players, but it focuses on those top draft picks. So, yes. And Steph, you just had a late note here.
I did. 2021 Gypsy Queen by none other than the Twins second baseman.
He is
Sneaking
always
in on
just
Instagram.
he is always just breaking news for us, huh?
That's greatest follow on Instagram if you want sneak previews here. Gypsy Queen using the fancy pen on card, obviously, and looks like he just finished playing some Call of Duty because his PlayStation controller is right there.
I like that design. That design's going to be sharp.
It's a fancy looking one, yeah. I don't see the Queen parallel, but I mean, it looks like he has his entire box to go here. So
get on it.
Look sharp. Get to signing, Luis.
So the NBA draft, I'm pretty sure it's concluded.
Just now, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. We heard all these great trades, like Harden's gonna, half the NBA is gonna be on the new, the Nets. Like, okay. If I'm the Rockets, I'm trying to get rid of Westbrook and Harden like crab, like as quick as like diarrhea. Like, okay, you guys want to leave? Like, awesome. I will take whatever dumpster fire contracts you have. Let's just burn it down and start over and move on. I think that's what Houston needs to do. But anyway, Steph's Minnesota Timberwolves took guard Anthony Edwards, #1 overall. James Wiseman went to Golden State, and LaMelo Ball went to Charlotte. Were the top 3 picks. The big surprise, Patrick Williams, Ford from Florida State, goes to Chicago. I thought that was a very interesting pick. Another one was Obi Toppin, who was the player of the year in college basketball, goes 8 to the Knicks. They were very excited about him. And then Denny Avdija, I totally butchered his last name probably, went to Washington at 9, and he fell. He was a potential top 5 pick along with Toppin, whose dad, by the way, Toppin's dad was in those remember the, oh God, what were they? The and one basketball teams. His dad was on one of those like travel teams and was like one of the big stars. And then your Spurs took Devin Vassell right before the Kings, and thank God, because I heard they were high on Tyrese Halliburton. No, they don't take him, so the Kings get to take him. Maybe the Kings got the steal of the draft. I don't know. We'll see. He's a point guard, but we even know.
And the Spurs grab Trey Jones in the second round. It's like, why all of a sudden are they like, they need some big men. They need a small forward.
Good draft for big guys though.
Rudy Gay. It's not really, but you got DeJounte Murray, you got White, you got a couple of young players in the backcourt. Bryn Forbes, Lonnie Walker, and it's like, then you go out and get 2 point guards.
Yeah,
and they passed on Halliburton.
This thing, the league, I think we're going to see a lot of more 3-guard rotations coming up. But my guy, Azubuike, he went number 27 overall to the Jazz from Kansas. He's a big force. He's going to be fun to see. Going to be a nice replacement for Rudy Gobert when he leaves Utah. But no, the top 3 guys, Edwards, Weissman, and Ball all could have gone in any which way up there. It's, a lot of these guys, most of these kids are 18, 19 years old. I think there was a kid that got drafted from Croatia that was just turned 18. He was like 18 in a month. And so, we're not going to really know. It's going to take some time, but good Lord, wait till Prism basketball drops and there's riots. I'm afraid what's going to happen on the 5th when, the week of the 5th when Prism football drops.
I do think it was interesting that we seem to, for the league's worst run franchise, most losses, one playoff appearance in 16 years, something like that. Horrible run of it. I do like that this is essentially a make or break year, and outside of picking Ricky Rubio back up, and I like that we didn't trade away our chance at Edwards, and some of the picks that we did pick up. I do like what I've heard about.
Yeah, they took Jaden McDaniel from Washington. Well, the Lakers did, but it's going to end up in Minnesota.
Right.
He played at Washington. I think that if he gets the right coaching and the right setup, he could be a pretty exciting player. He's like 6'10", but he plays like he's not Kevin Durant. He's like Kevin Durant, like super light. He's a very poor man's Kevin Durant at this point, but he has that ability, that length and size to do that. So this week there was a huge card show in Dallas, and Steph was on the floor down there. People were they masked up. What was it like? It was like a little junior national, huh?
Yeah, I mean, essentially was. They had 300 or 400 or so tables. We went all of the good majority of Saturday, and a little bit on Sunday. I guess there was also Friday, and I guess there was a dealer preview trade, whatever, on Thursday. So essentially, at least to the public, a 3-day show. I wouldn't say that we necessarily felt unsafe the entire time. Sure, as I put it, I'd say like 85% the majority of people were either had a mask on or at least while they were inside talking with people who had it on. Maybe 10%, it was the dealers, back a full 10 feet with the mask off, relaxed for a few minutes, and then put it back up. And I got a video here and a picture to share as well. And really, one or two guys just completely disregarding regulations, which is disappointing. But no, it was a decent show. I would say that there's a huge focus on slab content, either BGS or PSA, which personally we found disappointing just because that's not the type of thing we look to buy. And at least for us, it was mostly football and basketball that was slabbed. We did bump into our good buddy Ryan, Card Collector 2, who we interviewed prior to his opening the show. Talked with him for a little bit. Talked to Texas Card Dude, Brad. Bumped into, of course, Rich. He was there. Caught him just after he did his Saturday show.
Didn't you run into Royals 417?
And I did. That's the other one. So I just finished breaking my second box of the day of Diamond Kings. He pops up. It's like, "You're Stephen Angelo, aren't you?" Yep. Guilty as charged. But I just happened to be flipping through the inserts and like, hey, here's a George Brett insert. It's a duplicate. I don't need it. Congrats, it's yours. For In the Zone, 29.
So
I don't know what to do now, Ben.
So are we gonna have open tryouts like cheerleader, like when the cheerleader breaks her leg, and now we need to get the open tryout to see who the third's gonna be?
Yeah, this is after I reached out to a buddy who had a Donaldson coin card, and I made a transaction with him to receive it. It's right here.
As a former A, I would love to add that to my collection.
I mean, I have a whole bunch of other twins set aside here, autographs and stuff. It looked awesome. It looked like a little mini national, and it again, Texas is Texas, and California this would never happen, but our governor could go if he wanted.
And like I said, I mean, for the most part, if you look around, the majority of people are at least wearing masks, or at least trying.
There's supposed to be a show in Vallejo on the 12th of December.
I'm efforting to be there, my friends. I'm cashing in all my chips to be there.
If you can, I would like to drive with you. We can go together. My van seat 7. If anybody else is local to us, we would have 5 available seats.
Yes. No, so it looks fun, and I miss shows. Like I really, really do. There's nothing better than
it was a great show. The aisles weren't too crowded, as you can see. People were at least moderately spread out. My only real complaints I heard there was probably about 1,000 people or so, maybe more, maybe less. Rich disagrees with me, but I thought, at least from what I'd heard, that Friday was huge, Saturday was bigger, just because people have the day off. But Rich was set up, so take it with what you will. And then, so like I said, that's the picture. Let me full screen the video here and share, not this, but content with the audio. Back to the beginning.
Yeah, I watched Ryan Card Collector 2's YouTube video of all the stuff that he pulled and said it was a pretty good show. It was good to be out. He's been to a couple different things. He went to Jimmy's card shop opening too, which looked pretty awesome. But no, that's great, dude. I'm glad you got to go to a show and enjoy it.
The final bit. Apparently, Steve Aoki, DJ, freshly getting back into the hobby, had broke a box of the original Pokemon for charity. And at least from the highlight video, it looks like he pulled the 1-2 pull from the box, Charizard, everyone's favorite. If my internet will hold up here. Quick review.
That's kind of crazy. They nail a Charizard.
I mean, the for the current release, the most recent release, that's like $1,000 card. So the old one graded well. Yeah, he's probably got back the price of the blaster box and more so.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I think he said he was out to 8 different charities. It's a real nice touch. He apparently either bought the box there or bought it through somebody who was showing up, which is nice.
Very cool. Well, the 2021 Baseball Hall of Fame list came out at not Mr. Tibbs tweeted out. They announced and it hit the ballot, and I love it because he keeps track of what he finds and kind of gives you a running total. But I want to ask you guys who's on your ballot, and real quick, it would be easier just to read the entire ballot. But the way these two guys picked people for the Hall of Fame, they will let anybody into the Hall of Fame. Anybody. But anyway, Steph, you had Bonds, Clemens, Helton, Torrey Hunter, homer pick. He's not a Hall of Famer, dude. Andy Pettit, Andrew Jones, Manny Ramirez, Kurt Schilling, and Sammy, and Omar. I'm sorry, Omar Vizquel. Can't forget him. He just why? Because he played 300 years.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna have Ozzy,
so if longevity is one, then I mean, shouldn't Jesse Orosco be a Hall of Famer?
Longevity and fielding prowess. Growing up watching baseball highlights mostly in the 90s, I didn't see anyone else featured more often than Robbie Alomar and Omar Vizquel. And sure, I'll be one to admit Torrey, even though you misspelled his name, is not a Hall of Fame talent, but I do think he probably pops 15, 25%, stays on the ballot for a few years.
I doubt it.
And Ben's was pretty close. I mean, it was pretty much the same guys. He had Scott
here's the thing.
On there.
Scott Rowland's a Hall of Famer. Check it out, though. There were 4 A's on there: Zito, Hudson, Heron, and Swisher. And I didn't put any of them on there because none of those guys are Hall of Famers, just like Torrey
barely
Hunter.
all-stars. Those guys are barely all-stars.
They were okay here. You're just bad. You hate Barry Zito because he cost your franchise a fortune.
But no, he ended up helping win a World Series. So I'm okay with that. I had Bonds, Clemens, and Todd Helton. Now, that's a Hall of Fame class. Getting 3 guys that were really good and 2 of the best of all time. And I don't care if they stuck nuclear waste up their yin-yangs to play baseball. They were playing within the rules or not set up rules of the game. But Sealy was probably delivering the steroids to these guys' homes in the offseason.
Doesn't matter. They made money. Listen to me. Check this out. You only want the Hall of Fame to be people that can sit at the dinner table with you. We want a couple more guys. We want there to be enough for a Thanksgiving feast.
Jeff Kent's not.
I didn't put anybody on. who is it? Jeff Kent?
Yeah,
Jeff Kent offensively is one of the best second basemen of all time. So
because I think personally, maybe it's because I think he's just a jackass. So I don't know.
See, but you also didn't think that Tim Raines was a Hall of Famer, so that just automatically invalidates your whole Hall of Fame perspective.
Tim Raines, the fact that Dale Murphy is not in the Hall of Fame and some of these other guys you're going to pick Omar Vizquel over a Dale Murphy,
he wasn't on the list.
He's not on the list.
Not on the list anymore. I know he's not on the list.
You're harassing me like I picked LaTroy Hawkins or something.
Yeah, he didn't pick LaTroy Hawkins.
You're going to pick Pat Mahomes because of who he made, right?
We're not here defending Harold Baines. Come on now.
Oh, Jesus. Fake slabs. So this is how I want to end the show tonight. Fake slabs. So everybody wants their slabs and slabs and slabs. And guess what, BGS? Your slabs have been duplicated. Panda _cards_ tweeted out, look at this. The only thing I can tell you is even BGS slabs are not 100% safe now. Saw this on a forum earlier. Wow, just wow. It's a 15, 16 Prism LeBron James silver, and it's a 9.5 card. Slabbed up. One's by BGS, one's by some other company, but it's got the same BGS serial number, same card, but one's fake and one's not. BGS responded at Becky _grading. We are aware of the situation. Have already taken actions to protect the brand and service. If you look closely, there are differences with these cases labels, so be sure to buy wisely. Jeremy Murray. Jeremy, which one? You didn't say which one was fake, dum-dum. So thanks for sharing that with us and letting us know you knew which one was wrong. And guys, how many slabs now are fake?
All of them.
All I have to say for that.
But
oh, it's not Sharon. Hang on.
Fake slab, man. So fake slabs.
All of this. If it's slabbed, it's fake. It's fake. It's just somebody's opinion, and then they put it in a one touch with a little thing at the top. If you want to give me $47, I will tell you your card is whatever you want. I'll put it in a one touch with a little note in there, and I'll write any number you want on it. Nobody?
I can't like. So guys, again, this is what we're telling you, man. Yeah, and then I think, God, who was it? Somebody said not every card has to be graded. Somebody tweeted that out today.
Me! I say that all the time.
But somebody else did on Twitter, so I actually took. It made sense to me now.
Got it. Okay.
Somebody, somebody I respected said it. So now.
I hate you more and more every time, but I also love you at the same time. I some of the crap that I see on Facebook, and I'm on Facebook because it's so hilarious. And you'll see somebody like, "Hey, I just pulled this card. Should I grade it?" And that's what I want to yell at. Just because you pulled a card of some jackboo schmuck doesn't mean you have to grade it. You don't have to grade every card.
Yeah.
And the amount of cards that should theoretically be graded is very small.
Yeah. And the thing, guys, is, go buy a one touch for a couple bucks. Put it in that and be happy. And the other thing, too, is then wait. Because the guy might flub it. And because a lot of the stuff that you're buying is the first year of this player, the second year of this player, and you're not sure. The hype's there, but right, like Chris said, with prospecting, the guy might not ever make it to the field, and you might not ever see him play.
Somebody asked me about Robert Poston not asked me, but asked Facebook. Any A's guys out there know if this guy's any good? And it's like, what do you mean? He's 17. It's like the odds of him making the majors before 2025, when he's 22 years old, is highly, highly unlikely. And the odds of him panning out anyway, the odds are stacked against him. He's 17. Good. Remember when everybody was going nuts over Lazaro Armenteros a couple years ago, the Cuban guy the A's signed? And now they're talking about not even protecting him in the Rule 5 this year because now he's met that ceiling where now he either needs to be protected or not. And it's like, He may be the most talented player in the A's minor league system, but how many guys are uber talented that don't pan out because they just can't put it together? They can't hit a curveball, or they can't, like Billy Hamilton, right? Fastest guy ever. He's going to break Ricky Henderson and Lou Brock's combined totals. Couldn't get on base. It happens.
And the thing is that, I told you I was listening to Ryan's watching his video, and he picked up a Bryce Harper Topps Chrome rookie autograph. And for a couple of years, that was the on fire card, and it went up and up and up and up and up. And he's like, I got it for a lot less than it was going for at the height, when it was super popular just a few years ago. And Bryce Harper is he's won an MVP. He's been a perennial all-star. He's one of the biggest names in the sport. And his stuff doesn't hold the value it did 5 years ago.
To be fair, Billy Hamilton.
I mean, does that tell you something? What's up?
What's that, to be fair?
He does have 305 steals, but I can't get on base at all.
That's the thing, though. He's the fastest guy. 305 steals is respectable, but what's he now, in his early 30s, 31, 32? This was a guy that was supposed to hit 100 stolen bases in a season, and maybe there was that thought process when the Royals had him to never start him, and the first guy, because the Royals were going to suck anyway that year, right? Was that last year, or the year before, 2019, 2018? And they're like the first guy that gets on base, pinch run with Billy Hamilton. That way he gets an opportunity to steal every single game and see what he can do. Because the Royals were going to win 65 games anyway, so what the hell does it matter? Let's at least have some fun. If I'm a Royals fan, that would be entertaining. I'm definitely watching at least through the second inning.
Yeah. Well, no, and real quick, Rich Frank in the chat says Harper is a future Hall of Famer. That's what I'm saying is, if he's a future Hall of Famer, right, he's got an MVP, all these, all-star games, and his Topps Chrome rookie card was valued at, say, $3,000, right, in the first couple of years of his career, and now it's at $1,500. What does that tell you, about getting on these guys super early? Sometimes it might be worth waiting a little bit to hop into that. So I don't know. I mean, and then too, just grading in general, like I said, they're grading trimmed and altered cards, they're grading fake cards, they're grading fake autographs. Now there's fake slabs, right? There's all this market manipulation with certain cards that are graded in certain levels. And to me, I don't know. It just doesn't sit well. And I'm one of those guys now that says, with grading, done. I haven't sent anything in ever. I don't think I will. I'm not going to buy it because now there's the uncertainty of, is it actually an authentic case? Is it authentically graded? Will I find another dupe? So
it gets worse and worse for those people that like to grade. I mean, and you can't even send it in to get it authenticated anymore because we've talked about that. They're grading, facsimile autos. It's like, it's a subjective process. We all know that. It's a human being looking at a card. Fair enough. You know that going in. So you're spending money knowing what you're getting. But the problem is as this hobby continues to grow, so many people are sending them in. Everybody and their brother is sending it in to the point where these people are making $15 an hour, $17 an hour, and they're forced to look at how many cards per hour to hit a quota in an 8-hour window, 40 hours a week. Your eyes are going to get tired. By Friday afternoon, you're done. I don't care. Your card gets a 6. Wait a minute. It gets an 8. Wait a minute. I'm seeing double. I'm seeing triple. And that's how we're valuing the multiplier that grading creates or lack thereof. I mean, come on. The whole thing is a scam to begin with. You're literally pissing money away. And to Tim's point that he made just a little bit ago, kind of piggybacking on what Chris had said earlier on the show, take a Jason Dominguez. He's 16 years old. Best case scenario, he makes the majors at 19, 20? That's 2024 that you're hoping maybe 2023. Cool. If you've got that card, sit on it. Grade it then. Because outside of that window of maybe the first couple of weeks to a month, if you can't get it graded and turn around and sell it right then and capitalize on that hot market, you're done because people are on to the next thing.
Yeah, and a couple things I question. Chubby Hubby says he has brought up 2 good points here. Getting in early in on Luca paid off for some, definitely. But the thing is that the Luca prices right now, I'm telling you guys, we're gonna look back in 3 or 4 years, and they're gonna be half of what they are now, no matter how good he plays. It's a very inflated market on his cards right now. So if you're spending $300 or $400 for a base rookie card, you're going to be hurt when you find out it's 100. Like again, we talked about this with the Jose Canseco $86 last week. He said it's hockey and it's about it's Alex time. But James sent me a DM. The Alexis card's going for $250 right now. But Austin Matthews, who's a known star in the league, his young gun right now you could have for $250.
And remember this to Chubby Hubby's point about Luca. For every Luca, I got an Excel spreadsheet of 100, 200, 300 names of guys that were right there with Luca that people got in on early that are now in the dollar boxes, the quarter boxes. I mean, we can
Michael Carter Williams.
Oh yeah, I got in on Amazon, when it was at the IPO. Good for you, man. You're probably a millionaire right now. But you know what? How many IPOs come and go and people take it? How many top 5 picks, top 10? Look at the NBA draft was tonight. Look at the last 10 years worth of first overall picks and tell me Anthony Edwards is a surefire. Tell me Zion Williamson is a surefire, can't miss prospect. You can't, because for every one of those, there's Joe Smith and Anthony Bennett or Derrick Rose, whose star was as big as they came, and then a series of knee injuries.
Yeah,
look at Klay Thompson.
Steph pulls up. Steph
Rubio and Johnny Flynn.
Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio over Steph Curry.
Oh, speaking of that, if you're a fan of the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Golden State Warriors or just the NBA, there's a great article on The Athletic that dropped today about the Timberwolves being the younger brother, the little brother to the Warriors, starting back in 1989 with the Tim Hardaway, Pooh Richardson, all the way where Kevin Garnett almost got traded to Golden State before he got traded to Boston. The Rubio, Johnny Flynn, Curry draft leading up to today, where the Warriors, lost to the Timberwolves in the lottery on the number 1 overall pick. But it's good. I didn't realize those two teams had that much history with drafts and trades and whatnot.
Check it out.
It's a fun read on the
you got to think, what was the Gugliotta deal, right? Was through there. Yeah,
they didn't mention that one. They obviously mentioned the D'Angelo Russell saga because he had already basically signed with Golden State when Minnesota was courting him, and then half season later he ends up in Minnesota anyway in the Andrew Wiggins trade. So a lot of fun history between those two teams.
Hey, real quick, Ben, do you think that Buddy Hield is a Warrior with the Klay Thompson injury? Klay Thompson tore his Achilles tonight.
What would you get? You'd get Wiggins to make the salary work. You'd have to get Wiggins and some draft picks.
Weissman.
If you could have got, but that's the thing. If the Kings are sitting at number 2 tonight, Edwards is off. Who do you take? Do you take Weissman or you take Ball?
Yeah, you take Weissman.
That's
Ball doesn't play defense and can't shoot. So, but I don't know.
And now Bogey's back in Sacramento. That trade with Milwaukee fell through, allegedly.
Well, he's going to go shop free agency, so we'll see. But I was really sad when he got dealt there. So.
I was like, dude, Milwaukee's all in, especially with that other trade that they made to acquire Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
I mean, they're doing everything they can to keep Giannis, and rightly so. And to the point about tonight's NBA draft, when there's not a lot of star power. I think this is going to be a really good depth draft. I think there's going to be a lot of players that are going to get 10, 12-year careers out of the league. But I think a lot of people that are clearing shelves going into next year. If that's
this isn't last year or the year before.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to end up taking it by spending $3,000 at Target and can't flip it on the secondary because nobody's buying because there's nothing in it.
You're going to be able to flip it and make it, but again, you're going to pay these big prices for it. But in a year or 2, 3 years, once we know what this draft class is, it's going to fall apart. It's going to come way down.
But you're already seeing right now, and maybe it's just a small dip. You're already seeing that right now. A lot of people are complaining, especially on Facebook. So take it what it is. That sellers are outnumbering buyers tremendously. There's a lot of people that are not buying right now. Maybe it's just the holidays. Maybe it's the lack of, what are you buying right now, dude? Gallery? Come on. But people are still clearing the shelf. Now you got Bowman Platinum. People are, hey, did I do good? I just cleared the shelf.
Yeah. So, guys, any final thoughts before we head out tonight?
I do have one minor one. I don't know if you guys saw. I know Tim did. I struck gold again. I found 2 more complete sets of 2018 Topps.
Nice.
I've already sold one to our good buddy Cardboard Icons. I asked him if he wanted the open one or the unopened one. He said if it's cheaper, the open one. So I sold him that one. I broke open the second one, and I got a 150-point Rod Carew Rookie Cup Greats medallion card.
Good job.
That's awesome.
California Angel Legend.
That is huge as hell.
You should, yeah, those ones were bad. Those ones and like the bat ones. I pulled a Jim Rice and it was like yay thick, and it's like, what the heck am I supposed to do with this? Before we go, just real quick, Chris Carlin is awesome.
Right.
He's a great brand ambassador. He and his team over at Upper Deck are doing a great job, and any of them are welcome on the show at any time. Any of them would like to be a part of, even if it's just to just hang out and talk. It doesn't have to be like an interview. It could just be to come on and give your thoughts. So we really appreciate everybody and everything over at Upper Deck.
And I wasn't joking. Day one purchase of that book, Chris. Read a bunch of.
He writes a book. I'm all in. He's been there so long. Real quick, couple of programming notes. Next week on Thanksgiving Eve, we'll have Philly Puck fan James Krakowski.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
he'll be on the show.
He is our legal eagle. He's our
hockey guy.
Resident lawyer and our hockey guy. So if you have any hockey related questions or any legal questions that pertain to something that he can kind of answer in the abstract as it pertains to the hobby, I'm sure he can at least give a.
I mean, Steph's our hockey guy on the show. Steph knows hockey. Don't get me wrong. No. But we're specifically having him on to talk hockey and legal stuff. And then the following week on December 2nd to lead off the final month of the year, the Mike Summer is confirmed to be on the show with us. So so that'll be fun.
December 9th, we're shooting for Night Owl. We're going to see if we can get the Night Owl on. So
long-time blogger, long-time Twitter legend.
Yeah, he's a huge Dodgers collector, right?
Yep. He even has his own card.
Yeah.
It's featured in the background of some TCMA minor league.
We will get him on the show. I just don't know if December 9th is going to be that day, but that's what we're shooting for.
Out. Guys, remember live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. We really appreciate that. I think we're like over 715 on subs on YouTube, which is pretty cool.
715.
Hank Aaron, right? Make sure to follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben at our trading cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. You can always follow me at Big Ship 79. Please share your hobby stories, great polls, send your questions our way. Keep collecting. We'll see you all next week.